All of these programs are new in the past 10 years as we grow and change to serve the frankly ever-growing needs in our community. The Cleveland Food Bank was founded in 1979, as Jan said, and by 1981 had distributed 1 million pounds of food to 129 agencies. 30 years later, in 2009, we distributed 27 times that amount, a record-breaking 27.3 million pounds of food to 480 member programs, a 5 million pound increase over the previous year, and enough for more than 24 million meals. This growth has been possible through collaboration with a long list of community partners. In 2001, the Food Bank merged with Food Rescue of Northeast Ohio, another hunger relief organization which had provided prepared and perishable foods to local hunger programs. And in 2003, we consolidated with the Greater Cleveland Committee on Hunger and began to manage the 21-county Harvest for Hunger campaign, which is one of the largest community food and fund drives in the nation and kicks off in just a few weeks. I hope what you learned today will encourage you to participate in the Harvest for Hunger campaign. It makes a huge difference, last year raising nearly $3 million in just 1 month. In both instances, the mergers resulted in more food and better service to local hunger centers while lowering administrative costs for the community. And we had to grow physically to accommodate that. In 2005, with the extraordinary support of the community, the Food Bank opened its current facility on South Waterloo Road, which has allowed us to do even more for the programs we serve. We're thankful on a daily basis to have the room we need to meet the rising need for emergency food. Only 5 years after moving into the new building, we've increased our distribution by 10 million pounds. When I talk about collaboration, I can't do so without highlighting the hunger programs that we serve. They are the other half of the equation, and we would have no purpose in doing what we do, nor no ability to do what we do, without their hard work. There are 480 of them in our 6-county service area alone. 81% of the pantries and 87% of soup kitchens are run by faith-based organizations. Many of these programs are in church basements. They have limited resources but do amazing things. The women and men who run the pantries and hot meal programs are amazing people and largely unsung heroes of our community. 70% of pantries and 68% of hot meal programs have no paid staff and are run entirely by volunteers. These good, inspiring people give freely of their time to help people in their communities who've fallen on hard times and need help putting food on the table. They spend hours and hours ordering, hauling, packing or cooking and dispensing food. They feed people with food and provide comfort and hope in the process. Locally, the numbers contained in this national study confirmed what we've been experiencing during this recession. This is a time of unprecedented need. Each month at the Food Bank, we set new records. As I mentioned earlier, we distribute a record amount of pounds to our agencies in Cuyahoga, Lake, Geauga, Ashtabula, Richland, and Ashland counties last year. And more than 84% of our pantries reported an increased demand in the number of people showing up. So we weren't surprised to learn that the number of annual clients seen by the Cleveland Food Bank agencies has risen to nearly 250,000 people. And here's what's alarming to me, a 40% increase since 2006. In 2008, we developed a new strategic plan to guide and inspire us to provide more food and service than ever before to local hunger centers and the people that they serve. Our approach to an ambitious plan is simple. We need to support member agencies in whatever ways we can to distribute food more efficiently and effectively. It's our mission to do whatever is humanly possible to help the growing number of people in need and we need to help them think outside the box to get that done. Let me tell you a little bit about what we've done in the first year of what we believe to be a very aggressive 3-year plan. We exceeded our goal to increase distribution in all counties. We exceeded our nutritious goal because nutrition is very important to us. We want to ensure that at least 75% of the food we distribute is highly nutritious. We achieved that goal. We began using GIS mapping to drive new agency membership and programmatic growth in underserved areas. We conducted a technology needs survey of the member agencies and began a computer training program, at the end of which 60 agencies will receive computers. We distributed $86,000 in equipment to 115 agencies and made $42,000 in grants available to hot meal programs. We piloted 4 mobile pantry programs in 4 locations, the largest of which in Ashland County drew 800 people. We expanded our children's nutrition initiative, our kids' cafes, backpacks for kids, and summer food service programs. We increased prepared meals distributed through our kitchen to over 5,000 a day. We added hundreds of free farmers markets in outlying counties. In order to increase the number of agency clients receiving SNAP benefits, we hired a full-time food stamp outreach counselor, and we increased our VISTA volunteer staff by 2. The region contributed more than $8 million in private fundraising at a very difficult time, as many nonprofits know throughout our area and across the country. We raised record dollars at a cost per dollar raised of 15 cents. And in order to assist our cash-strapped agencies, we reduced the small fee paid by them. Agencies received in 2009 5.7 million more pounds of food than in 2008, and they spent $188,000 less. And I say all of this not to boast, because truly it's you that made this happen, but to illustrate the magnitude of the efforts to feed hungry people in our community. Because of the generosity of this truly unique region and our collective recognition of the severity of the growing problem of hunger, the Cleveland Food Bank has improved the efficiency of our operations and increased the level of agency support and consequently better served the community in a time of unprecedented need. We were able to step up to meet the increasing demands on our agencies and its accompanying high unemployment rate because of increased federal government and state support for food. Food from the federal government for the Emergency Food Assistance Program steadily declined from 2002 to 2007 and presented a huge challenge to food banks. Thanks in no small part to the leadership of Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown, the Farm Bill of 2008 reversed that trend, providing a $110 million increase in 2009. This USDA product arrived just in the nick of time to help meet the great increase in demand that we've experienced during this recession. At the same time, despite an incredibly difficult state budget crisis, Ohio legislators recognized the importance of meeting basic needs in times of hardship, and what is more basic than food, and provided an increase in funding to provide shelf-stable food and produce from Ohio farmers. We are tremendously grateful for the support of our legislators in Northeast Ohio for this essential increase during what we all know was an almost impossibly difficult state budget process. During budget time, many of our hunger programs distributed paper plates to clients and asked them to share what the food they received meant to them. I'd like to share just a couple of their comments. My children and I are incredibly grateful for the Middleburg Heights Food Pantry and the resources it has provided during this difficult time in our lives. I'm a single mother who's been laid off, and the cupboards and pantry were bare until I was informed of the food pantry. When I brought food home from the pantry, it was like Christmas. Thank you so very much. I'm a 68-year-old widow living on Social Security. The food pantry supplies me with things I can't afford from the store to have a balanced and healthy meal, especially meats and veggies. If there were no food pantry, I'd probably go hungry and have no salads, fruits, or other things necessary for good health. Thank you. We work but still come up short for groceries. After bills, there's only so much left over for food. The food we receive from the food bank helps to supplement what we buy from the store. Help from food banks means a great deal to our family. Grace Episcopal Food Pantry means I can feed my daughter even when I can't keep up with my utility bills. Many times we've run out of milk or bread for days at a time. The food pantry food keeps us in vegetables and some meat and means I can spend money on milk and protein. We especially appreciate the fresh produce we've been able to get on occasion. Many, many thanks from the bottom of my heart. And in addition to federal and state support, the Board of Cuyahoga County Commissioners has been extraordinarily generous to hunger relief efforts over the years and have made the commitment to provide significant support yet again in 2010. We clearly live in a community that cares about this issue and doesn't want people to go hungry. What else can we do to improve the situation for millions of insecure Americans? Because unfortunately we aren't doing enough. The Feeding America system of food banks alone cannot solve the problem of hunger in our communities, even with strong community support. So what do? Hunger is a national problem, and that has and will continue to require the federal government to lead the response.